A 61, the number of the day is 61. That is the number of competitive matches consecutively that Bayern Munich has not lost when Thomas Muller has scored. That is 58 wins and 3 draws, which bodes very well for our fortunes for the rest of this Champions League season if he manages to find the score sheet from now until the final. Please, please do that. Well, the first half of this game was not really to my liking. I thought that we allowed Besiktas, at least in the first 20 minutes or so, we allowed Besiktas a little too much time on the ball. They really gave us a very unnecessary lifeline when Vida made that really ridiculous tackle outside of the box, brought Besiktas down to 10 men. Quaresma, just a few minutes later, almost giving us a penalty with a foul just on the left-hand side of the box. Quaresma himself, he was efficient for Besiktas on the counter, but, for the most part, I think Besiktas were really hard done from a lot of defensive errors on their part. To be quite honest, when we had the one-man advantage, Besiktas probably should have scored through Wagner Love. I don't know how he did not at least get a shot on target. I mean, he had pretty much dribbled around 2 or 3 of our back liners. So, I'm not really sure why Wagner Love wasn't able to have a better finish there. He should have at least gotten a shot on target. I think he should have scored. I mean, I'm not complaining, but I think he should have scored. Towards the end of the first half, we took an early 1-0 lead to bring us into the second half. Honestly, it was a bit of a scramble in the box, but Muller managed to get a foot on the end of it and just poke it into the back of the net. The nice 1-2 touch pass from Kingsley Coman, however, I really liked that. I loved that more than the goal itself because I just thought that was just completely class. In the second half, it was much better. You could tell that Besiktas really, the one-man advantage was starting to get to them. I think fatigue started to set in a little bit. They weren't really seeing that much opportunity on the ball. And and the second goal was my favorite of the whole match. Again, not so much because of the goal itself, although I do think it was a good strike by Coman to just nestle it into the back of the net. But I loved the slip-through pass from Lewandowski all the way on the hard right-hand side. It was just so silky smooth, and the way that he was able to slip the ball into Coman to just hit it into the back of the net, I liked that more than the goal itself, to be honest. This game had a lot of plays where I liked them more than the actual goals that were scored. But, that was my favorite moment. And then, from then on, Lewandowski, he netted a brace. Muller would get one more. Muller's second goal was a little bit strange, but, And then there's the whole question of whether or not Muller was in an offside position when he found Lewandowski for the 5th goal. I don't know, the linesman had him just onside, but it could have gone either way. I mean, some referees probably would have called him offside. He seemed like he was in a little bit too much of space. Maybe he was in an offside position. I don't really think so. I think he was just about, but, it was essentially just a tap-in for Lua at that point. Once Muller found him out. So, I mean, you don't want to say it's over until it's over, but it's going to take another miracle of Istanbul for Besiktas to pull this out. I think it's sort of unfortunate for them because they're a side that is much better than this. They did win their group in the first round, so they were a seeded team. But like I said in the beginning of this video, I think they were really, really hard done by Vida's tackle that ultimately saw him get sent off. But, you can't make stupid fouls like that. You just can't. I still want us to win the second leg, but I wouldn't be surprised if Heinkes goes with a more conservative formation next week because, I mean, the margin for error here is just so huge. Um, and my early prediction for the second leg is I actually think it's going to be a draw because I think Besiktas will play in front of their home fans. Not very often you get to see a Turkish team in the round of 16. So, they will play off, try to play for compensation. And I think that match will probably be like a 1-1 or a 2-2 draw. It'll be a scoring draw, I think. But yeah, that's an early prediction for the second leg. Just because Bayern doesn't really have to have the initiative to go out and display that killer instinct that we all know them for. I mean, they did so tonight. I mean, 5-0 lead just from the first leg. I mean, it's pretty much almost insurmountable at this point, So, I actually missed Lewandowski's the fifth goal because I had switched channels. I switched over to Chelsea versus Barca to watch the last 10-15 minutes of that. So I had to go on Reddit and watch highlights of the final goal from Bayern. Because I looked over at the Chelsea-Barca game, it was a 1-1 draw. It just looked more enticing. It looked like it was more up in the air. So I watched that. That was pretty exciting. But I did not watch that full match. I heard it was good, though. Willian hitting the post a couple of times. And then finally getting lucky. I did watch Willian's third attempt, which was the one goal that he did manage to convert. And as much as I think he deserved that goal based on his performance throughout the entire game, Barcelona was pretty much guilty of ball watching in the box, in my opinion, off of that corner from Chelsea initially. You had 8 or 9 guys, 8 or 9 velvet shirts, all coalescing around 2-3 Chelsea players in the box. And then Willian, so much space found outside the box. No one was man-marking him. So I do think Barcelona was guilty of a little bit of ball watching in that scenario. And then that huge defensive gaffe that just led to Messi's equalizer. That could be the goal that sinks Chelsea's quarterfinal hopes because, now they got to go back to the new camp in the second leg. Barcelona with the advantage on the away goals rule. Chelsea probably needed to win this match in order to stand a coherent chance of going through. Thing is now, in this match, I think Barcelona had about 71% of the possession. So they were dominating on the ball. Now Chelsea has to go and try to score an away goal, possibly leaving themselves exposed, because that's going to be the exact counter of what Antonio Conte's strategy was heading into this game. So now they have to completely change their strategy. So, yeah, it's going to be tough, but I thought Hazard was really... his presence wasn't really well noted in this game, which from Chelsea's perspective is unfortunate, but, my early prediction for the second leg between Barca and Chelsea, I think Barca will win like 2-1 or 3-1. I think at least 2-1. So yeah, those are my reactions. Again, I did not watch most of the Chelsea-Barca game, but mostly it was just the Bayern versus Besiktas. So leave a comment below, like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video, hopefully, God willing. Till then, have a good one. Much love, and peace out.